I don't know what just happened, but we are back. We're back here. This is Adam's TV podcast. I'm your host, Adam Samuel, talking about America's Got Talent. We had a previous video, kind of got corrupted. Something happened. Broadcast kind of got all messed up. So we're going to start here. We're going to start fresh. So joining me again is Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing good. This is going to be much better than the last episode of this podcast. Show number End of a Void.
I don't know, but let's we kind of I guess we should do a little bit of an intro, should we?
Yeah, let's do an intro.
All right, so let's go on.
Just say I can summarize what we talked about in the last episode pretty damn fast. This was our least favorite episode of the season so far. Not a ton of great acts, couple decent ones, bad comedians. We're caught up.
Yeah, that was basically where we
got.
Let's get into some of these acts. All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's get right into it. So our first act of the night is Troy Jenkins, and his whole intro package is kind of painting him as the everyman. He's just a regular guy, talks about working. He likes sandwiches. Everyone likes sandwiches.
I like sandwiches.
Going into his act, I had unfortunately actually heard about him before the show because his talent is very, very creepy and not a favorite of mine to watch on these shows. He is actually a contortionist. And I want to ask you, Eric, what did you think about him?
Well, from 5 seconds that I was looking at the screen before I had to look away and cover my eyes, I mean, the thing is, I can't watch this type of act. I can't watch it. It's gross to me. I don't really think it's really a talent. I think it's just like an ability. There's a difference for me. I get why they put him through, but in the way I don't get it why I put him through. I wrote blah in my notes. Yeah,
contortion is just I get that it's a talent, but it's a talent I don't feel like I ever really need to see or want to see.
Exactly.
It's just it kind of makes me like squirm a little bit, like don't do that. What are you doing?
The way he did it made me squirm.
Yeah, but I'm actually hearing some things that he might have a bit of a name for himself. Is it true that he's been around the block in some shows and he's done some things with his talent?
I'm sure he's done some things with his talent, but I don't know what those things are. So,
yeah. So while we're on the topic of contortions, have there ever been any contortion acts that have kind of made it far? There's one person I could kind of think of. I was thinking Sophie. There was a guy, Victor, I think was his name. He kind of did all the. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
He did juggling also. It was like contortion and juggling, and you.
Okay.
No.
I like the girl who shot the crossbow with her foot.
Yeah, she's actually been like places. I've been seeing her names like all over the place, right?
She was on YouTube or something. I don't know.
Yep. All right. So I just want to say, like, he gets the yes, he gets through to the next round, but it's just this is an act that I can never see winning the show. It's just too. It's a lot, and it's
the acts that can't win the show.
Well, before we get on to that act, so I guess do you have any final things you want to touch on with Troy?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, so actually, before we move on to the next act, we get this segment of dance acts basically getting told no. But one of the acts that is featured is an act that has previously appeared on America's Got Talent. It's the Academy of Villains. Do you remember them, Eric?
I do not.
I actually remember them because it was the first season I ever watched of America's Got Talent, and I thought they were absolutely incredible. They had this act. They were featured on the YouTube special, and they did this cool thing where they were all like wearing red sleeves, and they kind of made faces. And if you want to go check it out, like Google them. They're very talented people. But it's funny. They come back and they're kind of montaged and told no. Did you like them at all?
I didn't watch that montage. I watched a different montage, which we'll get to later.
All right. Well, I just want to say they're really talented, and I actually was doing a little bit of research afterwards. I think they actually did make it through to the next round, although they kind of painted it as if they didn't. I don't know. The fact that they were montage means we're probably never going to see them again.
Correct.
But
montage in a way that they assume they gotta know means that they're definitely goners.
There is nothing more telling for a contestant's longevity than them being placed in a montage. It never ends well, does it, Eric?
Some montages end well, but never on a reality show. I mean, there are a couple exceptions. I remember season 9 of Idol, Leah and Crystal were both featured in a montage in their auditions. In the same montage, actually. They were put together in their montage. Then again, season 9 of Idol was, with the exception of Crystal, I think the worst season of Idol. So let's move on, shall we?
All right, let's move on to our next contestant. Her name is Vivian Vajada.
I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like if I try to pronounce that name, it's gonna sound a little awkward. So we'll just call her Vivian. So she is a jump roper. She does kind of cool acts, cool tricks with her jump rope. And I was watching this, and I kept thinking, I feel like Academy of Villains is probably a little bit better than her. But what did you think about her?
Well, the judges straight up asked her, can she win, if she thinks she can win. And I think the answer is no, she can't. She's impressive and good at what she does, but this is not the type of act that I could watch for more than 2 minutes without getting a little bit bored, honestly.
I agree. This isn't like the act that wins the show. Like they get all these deals. Like I mean, it's cool. Like if I was walking like on the street and I saw someone doing this kind of a thing, I would be like impressed. But for like,
she can maybe be a part of like a show like Cirque du Soleil, but that's the extent of it.
I think you hit the nail on the head that she's not a solo artist. She's more of something that kind of goes in a group, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But she does get 4 yeses. She actually gets a standing ovation, I think, from one of the judges. But I don't know. I probably would have said no. Do you think so too?
I wouldn't have said no at this point because she was impressive, but I wouldn't have said, oh, she can win.
Yeah.
If you're only telling me that only one act can win, there will only be one winner. So we can't just say no to everyone except for one person. That's my philosophy.
I agree. But I think the way that going forward, if I'm like kind of coaching her a little bit and trying to give her some advice, I think the best advice to her is less tricks, but play it smarter. I feel like she needs to do something different. Just throwing everything against the wall, trying to do everything she can in those seconds isn't the best. I think she needs to find a way to play it smarter, is my opinion.
Sure.
All right. Any final thoughts? The thing is, I don't really have that many thoughts about some of these people because it's pretty cut and dry with a bunch of them, right?
Pretty much.
All right. So I guess we're gonna kind of move on. We move on to one contestant who I feel we might have a little bit to talk about. It is Joseph O'Brien. He is a singer. He has this backstory. He's never had a girlfriend. He's never been kissed. He says he works as a trampoline monitor. Not really sure what that means, but he comes.
I watch have people jump up and down on the trampoline.
Okay, I guess that's a thing, but he performs. Yep, he goes and he performs a cover of Lionel Richie's "Hello," and a little. Oh, Eric has something to say. What do you got to say, Eric?
He picked a song I cannot judge objectively, because that was my first moment with David Cook, my all-time favorite idol, my all-time favorite singer. You can't pick that song and have me judge it objectively. So to be fair, he did sound good on it. The song choice was problematic for me. It wasn't problematic for most people. The problem was we had some truly phenomenal singers this season, and he's not one of them. He didn't match up with them. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say that people seem to love this song. Like a lot of people, like this is a big song for them. For me, I don't really like it that much. Like, I mean, I guess
like when Lionel Richie sings it or when he sings it, when David Cook sings it, it was great.
I never saw that performance, but I'm sure it was great.
Blasphemy. Go back and watch it.
For Joseph's
Shun the non-believer.
Shun the non-believer. I'm being shunned. But for Joseph, the thing is, most of these singing acts, like I can't get excited about. Like I don't feel like people are going to say.
I've been excited about.
What?
There have been a couple I've been excited about this year.
Maybe, but Joseph, I feel, isn't one of them. I feel like he's solid. He has a good voice, but I don't like the way they kind of painted him. It just kind of seemed a little bit like I feel like a person is more than what they were kind of showing for them. But I guess it worked for him because he gets pretty strong praise, right?
But I will say is actually I'm going to interject with a tangent here. I downloaded like 3 of the singers' performances from the season. The one I've been having on repeat, annoyingly, is Howie's Golden Buzzer Girl. I like her a lot now. I've been listening to her a lot. She's really good.
That was Courtney, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm honestly still not sold on her. I mean,
I kind of am at this point, honestly. I really love her voice.
Do you think she's gonna win?
No.
I don't know. I feel like there's just so many plants on this season of the show. Everyone's
a plant, but
yeah.
she's a plant. But I don't care. She's good. Let's keep going.
Yeah, but I just want to say like that when everyone is a plant, it feels phony a little bit. What?
It feels like the voice.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. It's just something like for some reason I find myself being unable to get invested in this season for some reason. There's just something. There's like one or two acts that are like kind of doing it for me, but the most of these people are just kind of fodder and like the occasional like diamond in the rough. But do you think a lot of people kind of share my sentiments, or am I alone in that opinion?
I don't know if a lot of people share a sentiment. I know I don't share a sentiment.
All right, so I guess we're gonna kind of move on from Joseph, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, so we are gonna move on. We get a bit of a montage with some contestants. Simon talks about how the audience, we are the fifth judge, and we can. This is a part of
yes, we want.
Yeah, so we get 2 acts, and it's all about the audience is kind of booing them. It's everything I dislike in America's Got Talent. Do you agree?
Same here. Let's not talk about it.
No, I feel like because it is a part of the show, and I feel like for some reason producers think that we want to see people get their dreams crushed. And I feel like maybe when American Idol was like just starting out and at its peak, like maybe that would be something that we would want to see. But I feel like nowadays, like if there's one thing we could take from The Voice, which The Voice is by far not my favorite show, I feel like it.
I know what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna preempt you. I'm gonna say it faster and more succinctly. Get rid of the dream crushing auditions. Have every experience out of an audition be a positive one. Right?
What you said. Exactly.
You
said it better and faster. But the thing is all right. You've said it better.
It doesn't mean you can't have people get no's, but don't crush people's dreams.
Yeah, there's
don't
actually
just go put people on stage and humiliate them. That's not fun anymore.
There's actually going to be another contestant we're going to talk about where that kind of it's going to come back into effect. But I guess for now we're going to talk about one contestant that surprisingly I actually somewhat enjoyed. I don't know if you did, but we're going to move on to this guy. His name is French Accent. He is a comedian. He's got an eye patch. He comes out with his accordion and he is doing corny jokes. And I don't know about you, but I actually kind of like the corny jokes. Do you, Eric?
Okay. I was with you on the human fountains. I was with you on the mentalist guy, whatever his name was. I can't concur with this. This was really stupid. And not funny stupid. I mean, the one part that was funny when he was talking about how he got the free access, like, oh, I'm going home now. This is fun. I forget exactly what I chuckled at him like once or twice. But at the end, it kind of verged on annoying to me. And the question I have for you actually is, should the judges be allowed to take back their exes?
Ooh, that's a hard thing to say because I feel let's just first talk about
you should stand, but you should be able to vote yes on someone if you give them an X.
Let's first just talk about like him, and then we'll get into your question because it is a very good question, and I do want to give it like a full time. But first, just for French Accent, I appreciated that they were kind of trying to make him look like a fool, like a weirdo, and he wasn't kind of taking it. Like I felt like they kind of expecting, like they were kind of breaking him down, and I just appreciated that he was one of those contestants that was going to be like, no, I'm not going to let you like your exes like ruin my performance. I'm still going to power through, and that's just something I appreciate seeing in a contestant. And that's really the reason I like him because at least he has like a personality. At least he's going to fight back a little bit. And I'm always a little bit on board with those contestants. And that's all I really have to say about him. I would have given him a yes. No way he's not getting my golden buzzer. I already gave it out, but still. All right. So now to your question. So you were asking, should a judge be able to take back their ex? Well, I'm going to say this, and I don't know if it's a controversial opinion, probably not that much. I don't think there should be exes on America's Got Talent. I don't think that I understand for the live shows, but for the audition, until you've seen the entire performance, you shouldn't be making like an opinion, because if a contestant is kind of like someone like Special Head, who I don't know if you remember, like his act was all to the build up, and it's kind of building up to those moments. And in my opinion, I would just the X's save them for the live shows. I understand if you need them, but I don't think the auditions really.
I honestly think the buzzers make a show though, because I actually kind of like the X's. I do, but I feel like they're not being held to them. I feel like if you want to buzz a contestant, that means you're 100% made up your mind. Nothing can change, and I think an X should automatically mean you can't change it, and you have to say no.
I don't know if I could get behind that opinion, because some acts they kind of are building to something.
I know. I'm saying that means you have to be damn sure before you buzz someone that you're going to say no.
I guess I understand.
I think liberally buzzing someone is a stupid thing, but I think it makes the buzzing have stakes. Like the 3 judges that buzzed him didn't matter because they took him back and they said yes. I think that's meaningless. I think they should not have the buzzers at all, like you said, or they should make them actually have to stick with them.
Do you think I'm wrong in my opinion, or do you think that is like a viable option to maybe take away the buzzers, save them for the live shows, but for the auditions to hold it back on them?
I think the thing is that the live shows, they never use them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter on the live shows. The auditions is when they matter. I think for more likely opinion to get rid of them for the live shows.
I don't know, because I feel like the buzzers are kind of used as a vehicle to kind of push the narrative of like embarrassing a contestant. Like if someone's doing something bad, it's just, oh, we get to show them because they're not good. Bam, we're going to buzz you and show you. I just feel like that's kind of pushing the ugly narrative.
I don't know, honestly. It's hard to decide. Let's save this discussion for another episode.
This is a good discussion though to have, I feel. Maybe we should do a podcast where we just talk about all the ways we can make America's Got Talent better. Maybe that's something we could
later on.
Let's move on to Glennis Grace. She is a 39-year-old singer. She comes on stage. She talks about her backstory. She has a little bit of a sob story, but she performs Whitney Houston's "Run to You" because she has an 11-year-old, and her child kind of inspired her to want to come and perform again. I wrote down on my notes, old-fashioned, probably not going to win. Do you share my opinion?
I share your opinion. Having said that, she has a great voice, a seriously great voice. And personally, I'd rather listen to her than many of the people on the radio today. Problem is, for the show, Simon never signs people like her. And often, later on the show goes on, he will actively bust people like her. She's too old-fashioned, and the more important thing is that she's not unique enough.
I agree. She's just kind of a dime a dozen. I've seen this kind of singer. I've just kind of seen this kind of singer like on Idol and the X Factor just so many times. It's like an archetype that they kind of just keep throwing at us, and she's kind of like a little bit of a fodder contestant that's a little bit more glorified. Like her archetype is kind of just no.
I think she's too good to be actual fodder. She has a great voice, but Mel B hit the nail on the head. It wasn't different from the original at all. She needed to make it her own somehow, and she didn't.
I don't think that's
she picked the song where she couldn't make it her own.
I don't think that's fair to judge her though because she doesn't pick the song, and I'm gonna guess she doesn't pick the arrangement. So that's a little unfair to say, because I feel like the producers kind of forced her into this bubble. They said, "Here, take this old-fashioned song. You don't have a choice. Either do this song or don't be on the show." And I can't hold that against her, because this is clearly the producers are kind of pushing her as old-fashioned, which is probably because maybe if she does something current, they might think of her as possibly a threat. Do you kind of agree?
No.
No? You think she picked the song?
She's not a threat even if she does something current.
Do you think she picked the song?
I don't know.
I feel I keep hearing stories that like you're given a song. You're not really almost every time, unless you're probably like one of the favorites. I feel like the producers are always kind of giving the songs to you.
Okay.
All right. But final thoughts on her. She's good. If she was able to be on Idol, I could see her maybe being top 10, but honestly, probably nothing more beyond that. I think she's solid. My advice to her going forward is fight back on the producers and try and go with current music.
You know what she needs to do? She needs to position herself as someone like Adele.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Glennis if she can. Does she play an instrument? Does she play like a piano? Like get her behind the piano, maybe like with a very nice, like emotional song, like kind of the Cammie Bradley route. I don't know if that name is familiar to you. She was on America's Got Talent a couple of seasons ago. One of my favorite contestants ever on the show. But yeah, that's really much all I have to say. Any final notes on her?
Nope.
All right, let's move on. So we move on to we get a montage about Howie Mandel. You guys all know my opinion on Howie Mandel, so we're just going to kind of move on.
I share that opinion.
We're going to kind of move on to Kenny Thomas. He is a daredevil. He says he's from France, and he has Howie Mandel come on stage, and he does all these tricks while he's riding a motorcycle where he kind of gets really up close to him without hurting him. Did you enjoy this act, Eric?
No amount of Howie being a good sport on the stage can justify him as a judge. Having said that, this did come close. Howie's reaction when Simon said, "We have to do that again because the tape didn't work," that was great. I appreciated that. Now, having said that, for this act, I couldn't watch a full show of it. It was impressive, but I couldn't watch it for more than like 5 minutes.
I watched the entire performance. It's just
I'm saying
I'm sorry. I misheard you. I misunderstood you.
I'm saying I couldn't watch a full-length, hour-long show of him doing this.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for America's Got Talent, like for the 2 minutes. But beyond that, like I'm not a fan of Daredevil shows. Like I've been to a couple of them, and sure they're like interesting, but the problem with them is there's just so much buildup and very little payoff. Like they're kind of like, oh, we're gonna take this truck, we're gonna fly through the air, and it's gonna do this.
What would be the actual payoff? Having a person die?
No, of course not. But like a very impressive trick.
That's the only payoff that can come. It's either he lives or he dies. Those are the two options for payoff.
No, I don't want to see anyone ever die. It's what I'm saying is I don't see these acts as
a NASCAR for crashes is what I'm saying. That type of thing.
Well, those people are crazy, but not all crazy. You can like whatever you want, but we do judge you a little bit for NASCAR.
Yes.
All right.
But other people turn left.
This podcast has just been it's been everything. Technical difficulties. We're calling people out. Any final thoughts on Kenny? I mean, he gets through to the next round, but yep. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to a part that might get me a little bit angry, but I don't know about you. It's Dr. Steven Eisenberg. He comes on stage. He says he's a doctor and he likes to sing to his patients. And it's kind of building up like this very cute story. And then he says he's going to sing a song about his mom. Everyone in the audience is kind of like going, aw. And what happens after, Eric? What happens after? Like he starts performing the song and it just no.
I don't want to talk about it. The thing is, I was with you actually. I said this would be funny if he wasn't clearly set up to do this.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. I mean, he comes on stage, he sings the song about his mom, and it's not good, and it's probably something he's going to look back on with a little bit of. He's not going to have very warm thoughts about it because it's just. You know the producers were kind of like, oh, this will be such a cute little moment. You'll come and sing out about the moms and everyone will love it. And I feel like this is a case of a contestant being set up to fail. And he probably left feeling a little bit the fool. And that's something I just can never really approve of. Right, Eric?
I honestly fast forwarded for most of it because I can't watch this type of stuff. It's just comfortable for me.
Yeah, it was painful a little bit to watch. But I guess we're going to kind of move on to the next contestant. Like we said, Dr. Eisenberg doesn't get through. And unfortunately, neither does Brian Kellen. He is a comedian. He comes on stage. He talks about how he was a part of a multi-million-dollar company and he left it to pursue comedy. And like Dr. Eisenberg, this goes all off the rails. Right, Eric?
The thing is, he wasn't less than some previous comedians we've had on the show this year. Problem was he wasn't more funny.
You know that like he comes on stage and he does like this I think it was an impression of a pterodactyl. You know, like the producers only took like the most awkward, like painful moments. Like they didn't show his full set. So maybe he had like one or two jokes that actually had people laughing, But like America's Got Talent tends to do, they're only going to show the worst parts. Do you kind of agree that that's probably what happened?
Quite possibly.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts you want to say on either of these two contestants?
Not really.
Lack of enthusiasm. This was kind of.
It's depressing watching people being set up to fail. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this episode kind of had so many things that I don't appreciate about the show. But I guess we're going to kind of move on to one of the shining moments of this episode. I think we are going to be able to agree on.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to agree a little bit. It's Rob Blake. He's kind of a magician. He does all these this really cool trick. He actually picks volunteers from the audience to this really random process, and he performs a pretty cool thing. Did you like his performance, Eric?
Here's the thing. First of all, I don't know how he did it. I know it's some sort of mechanical thing. It was interesting. And honestly, one thing I'm going to say is I don't know what Mel is talking about. I think the presentation was part of the best part about it. Like taking a selfie with Simon, having the camera, follow him, all that stuff. It was really well presented, actually. So I don't know why Mel picked that as a criticism. I think what Shin Lim does is more impressive to me personally. This was still cool.
I'm going to agree. I think it's good. I think he's got a bit of competition. I think we do have some pretty strong magicians this year.
Yes.
I'm actually starting to get the opinion a little bit. We might maybe see an act that isn't a singer this year win. Maybe it will be someone like a magician, someone like a shadow dance act. And I could get behind that kind of change. Do you agree, Eric?
Yes.
All right. So final thoughts on Rob Blake. I like it. I don't know. He set the bar pretty high for himself. This was a pretty strong performance. I don't know what he's going to do for the next round, but we'll see. And I guess on that note, we are going to move on to Brian King Joseph. He is a violinist. He talks about in his backstory that he's dealing with a condition that he has. It's called, I think it was neuropathy, where his hands and toes are like numb and they're painful to use. But this condition is only going to get worse with time. But he actually can't feel his fingers when he's playing the violin. He does it kind of from like memory. And he performs, I think it's the song Lean On. I don't know who it's by, but it was a pretty strong performance. What did you think, Eric?
It's a very sad story, sort of. I was impressed that he can play so well. He's got great presence, very talented. Don't think he can win, but I'm happy he got through because he's pretty great. Yeah.
I will say, like, in addition to like the shadow acts and the magicians, like a soul musician is another one of my favorite categories on America's Got Talent. I love when someone's just willing to come on with like guitar or an electric guitar, like something like a violin, and just do something with no singing, just them. I love Lindsay Sterling. She's one of my favorite.
Did you watch Tokyo Myers from Britain's Got Talent?
Nope. I don't really watch that Britain's Got Talent that much. I do occasionally watch some clips. There was one actually Britain's Got Talent act that I actually really liked and I did root for. It was a violinist. It was a girl. I don't remember her name. She did like a cover of yeah, that was her. I remember she was named after like a vegetable or something.
Lettuce.
So that was how I remembered her. I actually really liked her. Like those are the kind of acts that I'm always going to root for. But the problem for me, I actually didn't like Brian King Joseph's performance that much. Like on paper, this is everything I would like in an act, but knowing his story and knowing it's painful for him to use his fingers, that kind of makes it a little bit hard for me to watch him perform because I know that while he's playing, it's hurting him. And that makes it hard to watch. Do you agree?
No. I think that if he wants to push through, I think it's a story of perseverance, personally.
I agree. It's just knowing, like, sure, he's smiling, but he's also feeling pain, like, in his fingers. Like, that just...
So you say the pain's always happening.
I don't know. Like, I almost wish there had been no backstory, and just him alone is pretty impressive. That's all I can really say.
Okay.
I really like this... I like this talent. Are you a fan of Lindsay Sterling, Eric?
Not particularly.
Huge fan of Lindsay Sterling. She has so many good songs.
It's not the type of thing I go out of my way to listen to. She's talented, undeniably so.
She's really good songs to like run to. Like she's really good like fast songs. So like really energizing kind of music. I love Shatter Me and Round Table Rival. Very good songs. Highly recommend them. But for Brian, he gets 4 yeses. He's moving on. And we are going to move on Also to Andy Huggins or Huggins, I think it was Huggins. He's a comedian. He is an older guy, and he comes on stage and he tells a lot of dirty jokes. What did you think, Eric?
The act I'm comparing him to is actually the trans comedian from 2 years ago, Julia Scotti, who I loved. I found Julia a lot funnier than him. Having said that, to me, of the stand-up comedians, he's my favorite of season so far because he made me laugh twice. That's how low the bar is for stand-up comedians this year on America's Got Talent for me. I laughed twice, and so he's my favorite. I guess Brent's Got Talent kind of spoiled me with comedians. The thing that I didn't get was that Mel said no to this and yes to some of the other comedians. I'm more confused than she is, apparently. And after this performance, there's a montage which literally was begging for my sign. Because literally, Mel B literally said to a contestant, I don't get it. And she said that variations of that phrase like 5 or 6 different times for 5 or 6 different contestants. Mel B's so confused, she doesn't get it. No, Brittany doesn't get it. I don't get it.
Hashtag Mel Brittany did it first.
Thief. Mel B is a thief. Hashtag.
Hashtag Brittany did it
Don't
first.
steal my bits, Mel B.
Leave Brittany alone, Eric. Just leave her alone. Oh no, leave Mel B alone. That reference is too old for most people watching.
Oh, I get it.
For me, you actually mentioned Julia Scotti, which is funny, but I love Julia Scotti way more than this act. This act kind of. This was not my cup of tea. I probably would have said no. And on your point about Mel B saying no, it's probably because this was filmed on like a different day than most of those the other auditions that you're thinking of. And she was probably like, maybe this was one of the first acts of the season or something. You never know, like what she's feeling on that day. It's a different mindset that she's in when she's watching these. I'm not a fan of these. They kind of make me uncomfortable. I get that some people kind of do like them, but for me, it's just. No. Is all I can really say. I'm just gonna say no. Was there ever a judge who just said no, like just looks into their microphone and goes
pretty close?
Yeah, that would be me for that performance. Do you have any final things you want to touch on for him?
No?
All right, so let's move on to the pimp spot, but not the golden buzzer winner. It is Brody Ray. He's a singer and he comes on stage. He has this whole backstory. He's actually transgender, but he performs a cover of Stand in the Light by Jordan Smith from The Voice fame. And I'm going to pass it over to you. What did you think about Brody?
Okay. First of all, so there's 2 different sides to Brody that I'm going to talk about. First of all, the story. I love his story. More representation for trans people on TV is always a great thing. He sounded great. To me, he was good enough that I would say yes, even without the story. Hoping Simon's comments right. I want to hear some originals. I want to hear some things to make him stand out, make him unique. Because he's got a good voice.
The thing is, for me, is he's voice alone. Like it's all about the performance. I don't care about the backstory. I mean, it's great that there's more representation. But for me, it's just, I just want to see how talented you are. And he's got a good voice, solid. Like you mentioned, I do kind of wish that he was doing more, original music. He's someone who's probably been through a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of things he could pull from. I always want singers to
differentiate,
do originals, because if you're just going to do a cover, then go on The Voice, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But otherwise, strong singer. I mean, no problems. Definitely deserves to go through. Don't think he's going to be able to win. I feel like he's gonna have some big competition with the guy from Glee. I think his name is Noah.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna be tough for him, but maybe he has potential. My advice: go to originals. That's all I can really say. Well,
Simon did give him that advice, which was nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, don't really have many other thoughts about this episode. It's kind of weird. There's just a lot happened and not that much
happened.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into some of these post-show questions. So, in your opinion, who are the top 3 acts of the night?
Brody is number 1 for me. Who else? Glennis I liked. I'll put her number 3. And the Magician was number 2. Rob.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Rob. I dropped my mic. I want to say Brian, but there's just that part of me that knows that he's like that kind of makes it a little bit uncomfortable to watch his performances. So Rob, but I guess I'm gonna say Rob Joseph. And for the last one, I'll just say Brody.
Rob Joseph.
Rob and Joseph. Rob Joseph and Brody. I'm gonna say are my 3.
Joseph.
Yeah, I'm gonna say even though it is like a little bit painful to watch, these are just kind of the acts that I like to
Brian
see.
King Joseph, you mean?
Oh yeah, I meant to say Brian King Joseph.
The singer from the beginning was Joseph O'Brien.
Oh, sorry.
I was confused there. I'm like, no, you didn't like Kim, did you?
No.
Okay, so Brian King, Brody, and Rob were your top 3.
Yep. And I was a little surprised there was no golden buzzer, but it turns out there's actually another week of America's Got Talent auditions coming.
Okay.
Are you excited for another week of auditions?
No.
Yeah. In my opinion, 4. Like you should be able to show everything you need in 4 weeks.
5 weeks at most.
5 weeks at most, but 6 is a little overkill. Like this is
actually it's not 6 because we have a clip show this week apparently.
Yeah, so I don't believe there's going to be a new episode this week, right?
As far as I know, I could be wrong. NBC could change everything around at the last second. As of now, when I look at NBC's website, this week is a clip show of the best auditions so far, which means, yeah, we get to take a week off. And then the week after that is the last audition episode. And then we go to Judge Cuts.
Yeah. It's a lot of auditions. I mean, American Idol, like all these shows, The Voice, they're all guilty of this. Like 4 or 5 weeks.
More time on the damn live shows.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're losing time from the live shows. Like the fact that we have this much time to give to the auditions means we're doing something wrong. We should be taking that time and putting it somewhere else. The fact that we're wasting it here is just a bit of a problem. But other than that, unless you have any final thoughts on the episode you want to touch on, I guess we're going to call it there.
I think we'll leave it at that.
All right. So just to go over the schedule for the week, since there is no America's Got Talent episode this week, Eric, we might either be taking the week off. Maybe there might be some other things we might want to talk about for Eric and I will be going back and forth with the ideas. We'll let you know. You could follow us on Twitter to keep up with them. But otherwise, on Thursday, I'm going to be going live with Jason and maybe Ryan, not quite sure yet on that, to talk about the next week of Big Brother. It's funny, it's 8:17 right here, so as soon as this is over, I'm going to run upstairs and catch the end of the rest of the episode and then watch the beginning. So that's something I'm really excited about. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. You could check out my 2 websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamcvblog.com. I actually just shared a really big story on adamsoapbox.com. Spent so much effort on it. It was pretty funny. A lot of people were telling me they really enjoyed it. If you're watching this and you want to go check it out, I would really appreciate it. And where can we find you, Eric?
EricAscher.com. Actually, no, Fox.ericascher.com. That's my blog. EricAscher.com. So that's my portfolio for my professional stuff. Eric _Ascher on Twitter, on YouTube, pretty much everywhere. So be sure to check my stuff out. I'll be uploading my notes as usual right now. So,
okay. I just want to apologize to everyone watching for our technical difficulties at the beginning. I have genuinely no idea what happened there. Eric and flashes. Sorry, I just don't get it, but because I don't get it either. I just want to say once again, I'm Adam Samuel, and we'll see you again next week.
Last minute product placement.
I don't get it. All right. And on that note, thank you so much, guys. We'll see you. This was a great podcast. We'll see you next week. I'll see you guys. Bye.